Romantic relationships get all the attention in the media. Everyone's looking for that one person they fall in love with, the one person that really gets them. You're supposed to meet, your souls merge, and somehow you're eternally blissful. But what about the people who were there before, after, and sometimes instead of all of that? Your friends. Unfortunately, as you get older, it does seem harder to make new, meaningful friendships. And this is where our story begins, with a video of me, Sam, from about 2 years ago. I was feeling the loneliness that creeps up on adults when we move cities or experience major life changes. I was also clearly not handling it well.
So I'm pretty lonely right now, and I'm recording myself in the moment because maybe it'll be more compelling. I definitely look like I'm about to cry. I'm not about to cry. I am just really tired, and like maybe I cried earlier. But anyways, I'm in New York and I'm surrounded by people. And I'm lonelier than I've been in a while. Like, knowing that I feel lonely, I've prioritized in the last 2 days going shopping with my headphones on. I go into these stores and I plan what I'm going to look like in a hypothetical event in the future and completely ignore the people around me. It's like pretty fucked.
I asked 5 friends I've gotten closer to since recording this absolutely unhinged video if they'd be willing to watch it and tell me their own experiences of loneliness and friendship. I met Jen at work about 8 years ago, but we became a lot closer when I moved to San Francisco. Emily through Jen's friends from North Carolina. Ellie and Zoe have both been on my improv comedy team for about a year now. And the biggest wild card of all is Erica, who I strangely met on Craigslist as a potential roommate. We ended up not living together, but have become really, really good friends since then. I asked each of them to first watch that unhinged video, then to describe their own experiences with loneliness, and finally to tell us about their journey to developing community here in San Francisco. This is what I learned.
Have you ever felt that way? Like what I described in the video?
Yeah. Even when I was in a relationship, you know? Yeah. Just, it's like something is missing. Something I'm looking for in a connection is missing. I can't really exactly pinpoint what it is, but I just know that it's missing. It's almost like that happens like when I know I'm in a place where I don't have people around me that are around the same wavelength. That's me.
My birthday 2023, literally the one friend I had here was out of town. And I was like, there is not anyone within 500 miles that knows or cares that it's my birthday besides David. And that was just so sad. And David, he tried to be like, well, I care. And I'm like, yeah, but like, you have to, like, it's your job. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody because I'm like, you don't understand what I'm dealing with right now. Even though what I do for work is like not life-saving or anything like that. But I won't call people, or I will like totally cancel plans, and I'll just prioritize staying home and like ordering DoorDash or like staying in the hotel and just like kind of falling back on this, like my body needs rest too, which I do think is true a lot of the times. But I also think I recently experienced this with a friend who
like I can tell that they need like a little more TLC lately, and they were like, oh, but I really just want to like stay home tonight by myself, and like, you know, and it reminded me of a lot of times in when I tend to like isolate because it's easier versus actually being like, no, I kind of need to hang out with somebody.
What do you think is the scariest thing about trying to make friends as adults?
Well, maybe that everyone already has friends. So it's like, who's open to making new friends? Am I a loser for trying to look for new friends? Like, yeah, and then it was definitely hard actually. Like when I well, didn't have hobbies and also didn't like drinking, because then like, where do you find friends? What are you gonna do together?
Making friends as an adult is hard. It's doable, obviously, like people do it all the time, but I think that a lot of times you make friends through like friends that you have already, like the referral system of friendship, where you make a friend because you know them from another friend, or like, your work ends up being like a place where you can potentially make friends.
Yeah, that's one thing that I found coming here is that like, when I started at Chime, like I met people that were cool, but they all like had a 2-year-old and lived in the East Bay, and it's like there's no way that's gonna ever like work. So yeah, I mean, I think it can also take time, because I'll see someone and I'm like, oh, she looks like pretty, like I like the way she's dressed, like she looks cool, like that looks like someone that like I could see myself like hanging out with. But it really takes time. You have to see the person over and over again for it to work. Like when we met at the jam, like we had the same thing where like I was like, oh, she seems really cool. Like I just remember we pretty much talked like the whole time after when we went to the bar. And but I was kind of like, well, I'll just see her again, and then we did whatever. But and it all worked out. But like I think that's important too, because like you can't just like walk by someone on the street and be like, hey, you look cool, let's be friends. Like
when you're an adult, you kind of already have a lot of connections, and so the bandwidth to like forge new ones is like stressful or maybe just not prioritized. And it just takes like consistent effort. It's like people are very serious about dating, but they might not make the same kind of effort to like meet with like a potential prospective friend week in and week out. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my theory. But I think everyone in theory wants to make new friends and is always open to it in their mind. But like in reality, like we only have so much bandwidth for so many people and connections at a time.
What are the types of people that when you very first meet them, like you feel comfortable or you feel like a sense of a spark of a potential friendship?
I think like similar to what you were kind of saying, like I like people that laugh a lot, people that think I'm funny, like they're great. And when I think about my friends that I've had for a long time, like my one friend Jen in Houston, like I literally, like, we don't talk that much anymore, like it's been a while, but like she's like still like a good friend. Like I literally will just call her and it'll just be like, hey, and then we'll just both bust out laughing, like just what, for whatever reason.
Okay, I feel like for me, the connection I look for, it's the same type of connection I look for with a romantic partner. It's not just like, oh, I enjoyed hanging out with this person, but it's like, this person makes me feel like I am the best version of myself when I'm with them. And also, it's, I don't know what that was, but it sounded like a cat. It's just like, I think until you experience it, people don't know what they're looking for. And so I think when you do find that kind of connection, it does almost, in a way, it's like so wonderful, and you have this like little glimpse of it, and then maybe it might not last, or maybe you might not be able to see these people all that often. And so I almost feel like it sometimes makes loneliness more apparent when I am not having that type of connection with people.
You know, there's an element of like admiration from what I see in them. Yeah, and that's probably what I value. It's like, oh, I want to become more like them in certain ways. Like, yeah.
What are the things that you see in other people that you admire?
I've always been friends with, I think, like strong women, like strong, independent women who are very smart, not afraid to be like who they are. Yeah, I'd like if I look at like all of my best friends, they're all like that and very highly like self-aware. I think that's another important element because I'm constantly, looking back at like what I do, why I do things, and I definitely connect better with people who do the same thing.
I'm wondering, like, what is the thing that stops you from making those connections with the people that you feel like you connect with on like an energy level?
Yeah. So I actually feel like I'm pretty good about going for it when I meet people like that. I'm like very much comfortable with being like, hey, I know we just met earlier, but like you seem really cool. Do you want to hang out again? And I think that's something that not a lot of people do. So I do feel I take pride in that.
When I was in like Sydney, there were times where like I knew I had to make friends, but there was nobody I connected with. Maybe my bar is high, we like at this point, maybe my bar is high for dating as well. Who knows? Like I just wasn't connecting with anyone. But then, there were people who kind of seemed cool, and I thought like maybe we're not vibing because they don't feel like they need new friends. So I tried to make an effort, and that felt quite vulnerable because it's almost like I don't even know if I want this, do I? But then so I guess it was like scary from that regard, or maybe just questioning why am I doing this. Yeah. What I'm more sure about, I like the person. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then maybe there's some assumption that like you must have liked me too.
Just like dating.
Yeah. Yeah.
People generally are happy to talk to me. It's more like getting myself into a state where I want to do it. Because I think, I definitely struggle with like mental health issues, and like it's more like getting to a point where that is something that I even want to do, I think has been that's been more of a struggle than necessarily like the mechanics of it. Like when I'm at my best, like I'll just go in, yeah, let's go get drinks. Okay, so I'll just inject myself if that's if like, oh, that seems like people I want to hang out with.
Do you feel like that you've built your life to have all of the connection that you want?
I would say in San Francisco, like I've been trying to like branch out a little bit more to find friends who have, the same weird hobbies that I do.
How's it been going?
Decent. I mean, in the tennis category, like I took a lesson and then I like met people and I've been playing with them ever since. So like that's pretty positive. Skiing, I've just like forced my boyfriend to learn, and I've gone with people even just like if they're not super interested in skiing, getting them in a cabin together. But yeah, I feel like I still am looking for that with a couple of hobbies.
Right now, luckily, I think I have enough. I think everyone maybe has like different level of needs. Like how many of these friends they need in their lives. Like, I feel like I have enough, but it's also a lot of them are not physically here, and that's what I'm starting to observe. Like a little bit sad, like because this is gonna just become worse over time. If everyone has their family and kids, like, and they change they're going to go through change like everyone does. And I'm not going to be along the journey throughout that change.
I don't know. Like even with improv, I'm just like I've made amazing friends, like hence you're here, but I also feel like I want to be like closer to people who are interested in shit like that. Like I want to have more community with those folks, but I also like don't show up to things, or like I'm sick, I can't go. Like then I feel like everybody's branching out, becoming like hella besties, and I'm like, damn, like that looks kind of fun.
I feel like I've surrounded myself with like really phenomenal, wonderful people. And I do feel like very connected with these people, very drawn with these people. And also, I can tell that I am missing something sometimes when I go to a random friend's house party where I'm going to hang out with like 10 people that I have never met and I might never see again. But they're all similar to me just in a way that you just pick up, I think, on like vibrationally.
I've always been like someone with like a small amount of really close friends. And I would say like the person I'm closest to like emotionally is my friend Jordan, but she's like in LA. And so I feel like I'm still searching for like my best friend. Like I want to have like a bestie, like a best friend. And like when I lived in LA, like that definitely was Jordan, but like, you know, it's long distance now, you know, like, and she has a newborn. And so it's just, you know, it's a lot harder, but that's definitely something that I'm looking for. Like, I feel like I'm making friends, but I want like someone to be like, that's my best friend. And I don't think I'm there yet with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people in general put in like the amount of effort that like maybe gives them what they need.
Perhaps. I don't know, honestly. Like it gives them the amount of, what do you mean
Like
by
the amount of connection
that? It's hard to say. It just depends on the person, I think. But honestly, no. I feel like a lot of people prioritize other things sometimes more. Like some people are focused on work, some people are focused on their partner, some people are focused on bettering themselves, whatever the case may be. Like a lot of times people don't necessarily make the time for their own needs for community.
Yeah. Right. Check my questions towards the end.
Uh-huh.
Okay, my last one is just, did this interview go the way you thought it would?
I didn't have any like expectations at all. I was like outgoing and blind, so I didn't have any expectations, but I think you're doing an excellent job.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Making friends as an adult is hard, but those awkward moments are the price of building the community you want. So, in that spirit, the last thing I did was make each friend sit through me telling them what I admire about them. Here's how it went.
I wrote down that no matter how much you travel and how much you see of the world, that you still see the world as like this beautiful place to be explored. It's like it never ends, and it's like a continuous sense of awe that I think is not something that many people have. And I think it's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For you specifically, I wrote down like why.
Oh, stop. Are
I
you gonna
swear. And the thing I wrote down was that you light up every room you go into with your energy and humor. I'm serious though.
That's really nice. Thank you for saying that. That's like very nice to hear.
I think you're hilarious and thoughtful and very clearly yourself. And I don't think a lot of people are any of those three things.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Just the way you interact with things is like, I don't know, it makes me like laugh and like giggle in like a really silly, fun way that makes me feel like I'm not an adult.
I love that. Oh, that's like the sweetest thing. Honestly, it's got to be like the most top tier compliment.
I wrote down that how open you are to new experiences and the way you approach life with like genuine curiosity is something that I think is unique and really beautiful.
Ew.